Some ancient monuments stand as permanent challenges to our understanding of history. Today we explore 25 unexplained structures that defy modern engineering methods, and by the end, you will see human history in an entirely new light. We will examine stones cut with laser-like precision, thousands of years before such technology existed, and massive blocks moved in ways that still puzzle today's engineers. How did civilizations with only simple tools achieve what we sometimes cannot replicate? What does this tell us about the knowledge that has been lost to time? Are we truly the most advanced society to have ever walked the earth? High in the Andes Mountains of Peru, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman presents a stone puzzle of staggering complexity. Its iconic zigzag walls are built from colossal granite blocks, some weighing as much as 200 tons. These stones were hauled from quarries miles away, then shaped and placed with a precision that defies logic. Each block was carved with intricate, multi-angled faces, some with as many as 12 distinct sides, allowing them to interlock with their neighbors in a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. The fit is so flawless that for centuries, people have said you cannot slip a razor blade between them. This was achieved without mortar, using only bronze tools and immense human effort, a feat that continues to baffle engineers and archaeologists. How could a civilization without a written language or the wheel accomplish such a monumental task? Experts like Vincent Lee have proposed ingenious systems of ropes and levers to move the stones, yet even these theories fall short of explaining the absolute perfection of the joints. Some observers have even remarked that the granite appears softened or molded into place, as if the very rock was made pliable. This incredible engineering also had a profound purpose. The complex angles and interlocking design created walls that could, and have, withstood devastating earthquakes, flexing and settling without collapsing. The knowledge required for such resilient construction seems to belong to a different age entirely. What understanding of geometry, physics, and material science has been lost to the centuries? This same continent holds another, perhaps even more mystifying, example of stonework that pushes the boundaries of the possible. Isolated on the high plains of Bolivia, the Gate of the Sun is a monument of profound mystery. Carved from a single block of andesite weighing 10 tons, this massive archway stands as a silent sentinel, its surface covered in intricate carvings that whisper of a lost understanding of the cosmos. The journey of this stone alone is a monumental puzzle. It was quarried from a site over 50 kilometers away, a distance traversed across rugged terrain without the aid of the wheel or large animals. The sheer logistics of moving such a weight remain a subject of intense debate among researchers. Once in place, the real magic began. The andesite was carved with a stunning array of figures and symbols, creating what many believe is a complex calendar system. The central figure, often called the Weeping God, is surrounded by 48 smaller winged characters, some running towards him and others away, in a tableau that has resisted complete interpretation for centuries. The precision of these carvings is what truly confounds. Andesite is an exceptionally hard stone, tougher than granite, yet the lines on the gate are sharp, clean, and perfectly straight, as if cut by a master craftsman using tools far beyond simple bronze chisels. The surfaces are smooth, with no signs of the hammer marks or rough gouges one would expect from primitive methods. This has led some investigators to propose the use of specialized, perhaps even unknown, cutting techniques to achieve such a flawless finish. The mystery deepens with the gate's astronomical alignment. The early 20th century archaeologist Arthur Poznański studied the site extensively and made a startling proposal. His calculations suggested that the gate's orientation corresponded not to the skies of 1,000 years ago, but to the celestial positions of 17,000 years in the past. This claim is, of course, highly controversial and challenges conventional timelines of human civilization. Whether one accepts such an ancient date or not, the sophistication is undeniable. The symbols etched into the stone display a mathematical understanding of solar and lunar cycles, a complex timekeeping system born from intense observation. How did its creators achieve such clean work in unforgiving stone, and what profound knowledge of the stars are we still struggling to decode from their symbols? This single gateway presents a cluster of enigmas, from its transportation and construction to the advanced science encoded upon its face. Beneath the sands of Egypt lies a world of shadow and stone, a place where ancient knowledge seems to have been carved directly into the earth itself. The subterranean temple of Hathor at Dendera is not a single chamber but a sprawling underground complex, a maze of crypts and corridors where massive sandstone pillars hold up ceilings covered in enigmatic carvings. To enter this space is to step into a realm of profound mystery, where the very air feels heavy with unanswered questions. The engineering begins with a simple yet staggering logistical problem. Enormous blocks of sandstone, each weighing many tons, were somehow transported from distant quarries and then maneuvered through incredibly narrow, dimly lit underground passages. How workers managed this feat without the space for large teams or machinery is a puzzle in itself. Once in place, the stone was shaped with a precision that defies their presumed tools. The pillars are perfectly straight, the corners are exact right angles, and the surfaces are flawlessly smooth, a level of craftsmanship that would be difficult to achieve today even with laser measuring tools. The purpose of this hidden sanctuary appears to be as advanced as its construction. The entire structure is precisely oriented to celestial events, aligning with the movements of the stars with an accuracy that speaks of deep astronomical observation. The famous zodiac of Dendera on one ceiling is a complex star map, a detailed representation of the night sky that demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of cosmic cycles. Then there are the more controversial reliefs, particularly the so-called Dendera light. This carving shows what looks like a giant light bulb containing a snake resembling a filament, held up by a pillar and connected by a cable to a box that some interpret as a power source. While mainstream archaeology explains this as a symbolic representation of a lotus flower and a snake emerging from it, part of a spiritual creation myth, the visual similarity to electrical technology is uncanny. It forces a compelling question: were the creators of Dendera merely illustrating mythology, or were they documenting a form of advanced technology that has since been lost to time? The crypt walls are a library in stone, filled with depictions that conventional theories struggle to fully explain, from complex objects to scenes that seem to show figures using unfamiliar devices. How did they illuminate these deep chambers to execute such precise carvings? What knowledge of geometry and structural engineering allowed them to create such perfectly proportioned, stable underground spaces that have endured for millennia? This Egyptian enigma, with its blend of celestial alignment and inexplicable craftsmanship, represents a high point of ancient technical skill, yet it is not the ultimate mystery. To find stonework that becomes even more inexplicable, we must journey to a different continent entirely, to a place where the stones themselves seem to have been softened like butter. The scale of achievement at Baalbek is almost beyond comprehension. Here, in the foundations of the Roman Temple of Jupiter, rests the trilithon, a set of 3 limestone blocks whose individual weight approaches 800 tons. To visualize such a mass, think of a fully loaded jumbo jet. Then imagine that weight compressed into a single, solid piece of stone. Now picture 3 of them, lifted and positioned with such exactitude that their seams are nearly invisible. This is not the work of a primitive culture, but a display of engineering that humbles modern capability. The mystery only deepens in the nearby quarry, where the even larger stone of the pregnant woman lies, a single block estimated to weigh 1,650 tons, abandoned in its bed. It is the largest known piece of stone ever carved by human hands. Moving any one of these megaliths would be a monumental challenge today, requiring the synchronized power of multiple of the world's most powerful mobile cranes, a logistical ballet of immense complexity. Researchers like Graham Hancock have pointed out that the forces involved defy simple explanations of ramps and ropes. The journey from quarry to temple site spans nearly a kilometer of uneven ground, a route that would be a formidable obstacle for contemporary heavy transport. Yet the builders of Baalbek accomplished this, and their work is defined by an almost supernatural precision. The surfaces of these foundation stones are perfectly level, their joints so tight and flush that the entire podium acts as a single, unified mass, stable enough to support the colossal temple above for centuries. This suggests the use of sophisticated leveling and positioning methods, a knowledge of geomancy and structural physics that seems to have vanished after the Roman era. What colossal machinery or forgotten system of counterweights and leverage did these ancient engineers possess? The sheer ambition of Baalbek prepares us for another kind of precision, one found not in the Levant, but in the heart of the Americas, where stones were cut with a geometric genius that is equally difficult to explain. The mathematical perfection of the Great Pyramid of Giza is a silent testament to a knowledge system we are still striving to comprehend. Its base, covering 13 acres, was leveled to within less than 2 centimeters of being perfectly flat, a feat of surveying that would be challenging to achieve on such a scale even with our modern laser technology. Each of the approximately 2,300,000 blocks, averaging 2.5 tons, was placed with an intention that transcends simple construction. The entire structure is aligned to true north with an accuracy within 1/15th of a single degree, an orientation that required a profound understanding of the Earth's rotation and the celestial sphere. The internal architecture deepens the mystery. Deep within the pyramid, the king's chamber is roofed with granite beams, each one a colossal 80 tons. The logistics of raising these monoliths to such a height inside the confined passages defy conventional explanations of ramps and levers. The surfaces of these stones show tool marks that have puzzled investigators for generations. Engineers like Christopher Dunn have studied these marks and proposed that the builders used machining techniques far beyond simple copper chisels, perhaps even saws with jeweled tips operating under immense, sustained pressure to cut through the incredibly hard granite. The descending passage, a long, narrow shaft burrowing deep into the bedrock, was precisely aligned with the pole star of its era, Alpha Draconis, turning the entire pyramid into a monumental astronomical instrument. The mathematical ratios encoded in its proportions, such as the relationship between its perimeter and height mirroring the value of pi, suggest a symbolic and scientific purpose woven into its very geometry. Modern experiments to replicate moving and placing blocks of similar size have consistently fallen short of the efficiency and breathtaking precision demonstrated here. This was not merely a tomb, it was the product of a civilization that possessed a seamless integration of astronomy, mathematics, and a physics of stone that we have yet to fully rediscover. This ultimate symbol of Egyptian architectural genius, however, is not alone in its strangeness, leading us to another site along the Nile where the stonework takes on a different, yet equally inexplicable character. Deep beneath the sands of Saqqara lies a corridor of impossible boxes. The Serapeum is an underground labyrinth, home to 25 colossal sarcophagi, each one carved from a single, solid block of rose granite. The sheer scale is difficult to grasp, with every box weighing close to 100 tons, a mass equivalent to a full-grown blue whale. Yet it is not their size, but their impossible precision that truly defies belief. The surfaces of these granite giants are polished to a mirror finish. Their corners are perfectly square to within a fraction of a millimeter, and their interior angles are so sharp and clean they feel machined. According to mainstream archaeology, this was all accomplished with simple copper tools, a material softer than the granite it was supposedly used to shape. The evidence on the stone tells a different story. The surfaces bear the marks of a cutting process that produced clean, straight grooves, as if a massive, powerful saw effortlessly sliced through the incredibly hard rock. Engineer Christopher Dunn, after detailed analysis, concluded that the flatness and perfect parallelism of the surfaces would require a machining method far beyond chisels and hammers, perhaps even a technology that applied immense, sustained pressure to cut and polish the stone. How did ancient workers illuminate these deep, narrow passages to execute such flawless work? And how did they maneuver these 100-ton monoliths through tight tunnels where only a few people can walk abreast? The purpose of these boxes adds another layer of mystery. While officially designated as burial containers for sacred Apis bulls, not a single trace of bovine remains has ever been found inside them. The lids, which themselves weigh many tons, were sealed with such perfect fits that they were virtually airtight. This level of geometric perfection and sealed integrity seems excessive for a simple burial rite. It suggests a purpose tied to a technology or a ceremonial practice we no longer understand, a function requiring absolute precision and isolation. What knowledge of stone and geometry was applied here, and why was such an immense effort dedicated to creating these perfect, empty vessels deep within the earth? This display of stone softened and shaped with impossible accuracy finds a strange echo in another part of the world, where the walls themselves appear to have been molded by a forgotten process. The stone walls of Scotland's ancient hilltops hold a secret written in fire and glass. Scattered across the landscape, forts like Tap O' North and Dunadir are crowned with ramparts that have been mysteriously fused together, their individual stones melted into a continuous vitrified mass. This is not ordinary construction, it is stone transformed, hardened into a substance resembling dark, bubbly glass through heat so intense it defies easy explanation. To achieve this vitrification, the granite rocks had to be subjected to temperatures exceeding 1,100 degrees Celsius, a heat far beyond what a simple accidental fire could produce. Modern experiments have tried and largely failed to replicate the effect on such a massive scale. Building a large bonfire against a stone wall might blacken the surface, but it cannot generate the sustained, uniform heat needed to melt the entire thickness of a fortification. The vitrification is consistent throughout the walls, indicating a controlled and deliberate application of tremendous thermal energy. How could ancient people, without modern refractory materials or precise temperature control systems, create and contain a furnace large enough to melt solid stone? Some more speculative theories have proposed the use of forgotten chemical knowledge, a kind of ancient thermite, or even directed energy from an unknown source. Mainstream archaeology suggests a more laborious process, where the builders may have stacked wood saturated with flammable materials against the walls and burned them for days. Yet, even this theory struggles to account for the sheer volume of fuel required and the incredible consistency of the result. The engineering mystery is profound. Why go to such extreme lengths, Was this a defensive measure, creating a stronger, more unified wall that would be harder for attackers to breach? Or was it a ritual act, a symbolic purification of the fortress through a trial by fire? The glass-like stone stands as a permanent question, a testament to a method of construction that borders on alchemy, turning rock into a new substance through a forgotten art of extreme heat. This mysterious manipulation of stone leads us to another enigma, where the very rock appears to have been softened and shaped by a process we can scarcely comprehend. The mystery of stone softened and shaped finds a startling echo not in ancient times, but in 20th century Florida. There, a single man named Edward Leedskalnin accomplished what should have been impossible. Working alone and mostly at night, he single-handedly created the Coral Castle, a complex of massive stone structures with a total weight exceeding 1,000 tons. He quarried, moved, and positioned enormous blocks of oolite limestone, some weighing as much as 30 tons, using methods he guarded with intense secrecy. Witnesses who claimed to have seen him at work offered baffling accounts, describing the colossal stones as seeming to float through the air, moving with an impossible, gentle ease. Leedskalnin himself was cryptic, stating only that he had rediscovered the building secrets of the ancient pyramids. The tools he was ever known to possess were simple and primitive, consisting of chains, tripods, and basic hand tools, a collection utterly inadequate for the monumental task by any conventional standard. The precision he achieved is a lasting puzzle. The stones are fitted together with masterful accuracy, and one of the most famous features is a 9-ton gate, carved from a single piece of rock, that is so perfectly balanced it can be opened with the gentle push of a single finger. This was not crude stacking, it was engineering of the highest order. Furthermore, the entire complex is laced with astronomical alignments, suggesting a deep, personal understanding of celestial movements. Modern engineers have tried and failed to replicate his feats using the same basic equipment. This leads to an unavoidable and profound question. How did one man, without assistance or visible machinery, manipulate such immense weights? Did Edward Leedskalnin somehow unlock a forgotten principle of physics, a method of counteracting gravity or harnessing magnetic forces that remains unknown to modern science? His lonely, decades-long project stands as a direct challenge, a modern monument that connects the enigmatic methods of the ancient world with a mystery from our own recent past. This puzzle of moving massive weight alone finds a parallel in another part of the world, where the stones themselves were made to journey across a treacherous and unpredictable sea. On a remote island in the vast Pacific, giant stone faces stare silently inland. The Moai of Easter Island represent one of humanity's most staggering engineering puzzles, born from a society that developed in complete isolation. These colossal figures, some weighing over 80 tons and standing 33 feet tall, were born in the volcanic quarry of Rono-Raraku. Here, master carvers shaped the soft volcanic tuff with stone hand tools called tok, creating these giants from the living rock of the crater walls. The first great mystery is their journey. Once freed from the quarry, these multi-ton statues were somehow transported miles across rugged, uneven terrain to ceremonial platforms called ahu that dotted the coastline. This was accomplished without wheels, without metal tools, and without large animals to pull them. The islanders had only ropes, wooden sledges, and their own collective strength. Recent experiments by archaeologists like Terry Hunt and Carl Lipo have shown that a relatively small team could theoretically walk a moai in a rocking motion by carefully pulling it with ropes. This walking method is clever, but it does not fully explain how the islanders managed this feat hundreds of times without catastrophic failure. moving statues of such immense weight over long distances with such consistent success. The second mystery is their erection. Once at the Ahu, the Moai had to be raised upright onto the stone platforms. This delicate operation, lifting an 80-ton, top-heavy stone figure to a vertical position without it shattering on impact, required another breathtaking feat of engineering and coordination. The carvings themselves reveal a third layer of sophistication. The Moai are not just heads. Recent excavations have revealed that many have full, detailed bodies covered in intricate petroglyphs, submerged deep underground. The facial features are carved with a striking symmetry and precision, demonstrating an artistic and technical skill that evolved without any outside influence. Furthermore, the placement of the Ahu platforms and the Moai upon them is not random. Many are aligned with celestial events, suggesting the builders also possessed a deep understanding of astronomy. How did this isolated community develop such effective, repeatable techniques for moving and erecting these giants? The true secret may lie not in a single tool, but in a profound organizational knowledge, a shared cultural purpose that enabled the coordination of an entire society toward these monumental projects. The mystery of moving such massive figures across land finds a parallel in another part of the world, where the challenge was not terrain, but the open ocean itself. Beneath the clear waters off Japan's Yonaguni Island lies a structure that challenges the very line between nature and human creation. The Yonaguni Monument is a colossal underwater formation, a sprawling complex of what appear to be massive terraces, perfectly stepped platforms, and sharp, angular pillars. These features lie submerged in deep water, a place flooded by rising seas at the close of the last ice age over 10,000 years ago. This single fact ignites the central debate. Are we looking at a masterpiece of natural geological forces or the sunken ruins of an advanced prehistoric civilization? The features observed are startlingly organized. There are staircases with uniform steps, each riser maintaining a consistent height, a regularity uncommon in random stone fracturing. There are pools with distinct triangular shapes, their corners meeting at clean, sharp angles. Vast platforms align with the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west, suggesting a deliberate, planned orientation. Professor Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist who has studied the site for decades, is a leading voice for the artificial origin theory. He argues that the sheer concentration of these precise, symmetrical features in one location points overwhelmingly to intelligent design. The engineering implications, if human-made, are staggering. To shape such massive stone formations would have required not only sophisticated stoneworking techniques, but also a profound understanding of structural integrity, especially if the builders were working on a grand scale against the erosive power of the ancient coastline. The opposing view, held by many geologists, posits that the monument is a fascinating but entirely natural example of sandstone bedrock fracturing along its natural planes, with ocean currents then sculpting and eroding the stone into these deceptively architectural forms. They point to similar, though often less complex, rock formations found in other parts of the world. Yet, the organizational complexity of Yonaguni remains its most compelling argument. Natural formations rarely exhibit such a dense collection of right angles, parallel lines, and symmetrical structures all within a single, interconnected complex. If this was indeed a ceremonial center or a city constructed when the land was dry, it implies a lost chapter of human history and a cache of engineering knowledge that allowed for the manipulation of landscapes on a monumental scale. This knowledge would have been powerful enough to shape the very bedrock, creating structures that could endure for millennia, even beneath the sea. The debate continues, a silent argument held in stone at the bottom of the ocean. forcing us to question the timeline of human achievement and the evidence that might lie hidden by rising waters. This mystery of a civilization building against immense geographical challenges finds a powerful parallel in another mountainous region, where an entire city was literally carved from the top of a mountain down. Rising from the azure waters of the Pacific is a city that seems to defy the very nature of its foundation. Madol in Micronesia is an architectural dreamscape, a network of 92 artificial islands constructed upon coral reefs using an estimated 750,000 metric tons of prismatic basalt. These are not simple rocks but geometric stone columns, some weighing 50 tons, piled like colossal logs to form walls standing 25 feet high. The visual effect is staggering, a labyrinth of dark, angular stone set against the vibrant tropical sea. The central enigma is one of pure logistics. The basalt was quarried from the opposite side of the island, a journey requiring the transport of these immense, unwieldy columns across dense jungle and treacherous water channels. This was accomplished without wheels, without metal, and without the pulley systems that would become standard in later centuries. The builders, the Sordalor dynasty, had only human muscle, ropes, and rafts. Local oral histories speak of magic, of powerful spirits flying the stones into place, a poetic explanation for a feat that remains stubbornly resistant to practical reconstruction. The engineering genius is in the assembly. The massive columns were stacked in a crisscross log cabin style, a technique that created immense stability by distributing weight and allowing the structures to flex. This ingenious design is why Madol still stands today, having weathered countless typhoons and the constant pounding of ocean tides for centuries. The entire complex is laid out with sophisticated intention, with canals acting as watery streets between islets that served specialized ceremonial and residential purposes, all built without a single drop of mortar. The stones are fitted with such precision that the walls have endured where modern concrete might have failed. How did an isolated island civilization develop this profound understanding of structural engineering and hydrodynamics? What forgotten methods of leverage and coordination allowed them to wrestle these 50-ton pillars into their perfect, enduring positions? This aquatic metropolis represents a pinnacle of human adaptation, a testament to what can be achieved when a society fully masters its environment. From this watery wonder, our search for lost engineering leads us to a landscape of extreme dryness, where another culture carved its legacy directly into the face of a desert mountain. Carved directly into the heart of a mountain, the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela are a testament to faith and impossible engineering. Here, an entire complex of 11 churches was not built upward, but excavated downward, each one painstakingly carved from a single, continuous block of solid volcanic rock. The scale of material removal is almost beyond belief, involving the precise extraction of an estimated 100,000 cubic meters of stone. This was not a matter of stacking blocks, but of visualizing the final, intricate structure perfectly in the mind's eye, and then carving away everything that was not the church. The result is a series of freestanding buildings, complete with doors, windows, columns, and arched roofs, all remaining attached to the bedrock below. One of the most breathtaking examples is the Church of St. George, shaped like a perfect cross, which sits at the bottom of a deep, sheer-sided pit. The logistical challenge of this top-down method is profound. Workers had to begin by carving deep, narrow trenches into the plateau, isolating a massive block of rock. Then, from the top of that block, they would begin the delicate work of hollowing out the interior, creating naves, altars, and passageways, all while ensuring the ceiling and walls above them did not collapse under their own weight. This required an intuitive, yet incredibly advanced, understanding of structural physics and stress distribution. the builders demonstrated further genius by integrating functional systems directly into the stone. They carved elaborate networks of drainage channels to divert rainwater and prevent flooding in the deep courtyards. They included ventilation shafts that ensure a constant flow of fresh air through the subterranean chambers, and they created a labyrinth of connecting tunnels and ceremonial passages between the churches. The precision of the carvings is another layer of the mystery. The architectural details are sharp and symmetrical, with decorative friezes and arches that show a masterful hand, all achieved with simple iron tools. Local tradition speaks of a divine timeline, suggesting the entire complex was completed in just 24 years with the assistance of angels, while conventional archaeology attributes the work to the dedication of thousands of laborers. The sheer speed, precision, and organizational skill required still challenge a straightforward explanation. The entire complex is also precisely aligned with celestial events, and the architecture incorporates deep Christian symbolism with an accuracy that speaks to a profound integration of spiritual and scientific knowledge. How did these medieval engineers plan such a complex, multi-level excavation without detailed blueprints or modern measurement tools? And how did they maintain such flawless geometric precision throughout the process? The churches of Lalibela stand as a monument to what can be achieved when human devotion meets an almost supernatural understanding of stone. This profound act of carving inward and downward finds a strange parallel in another part of the world, where the stone itself appears to have been melted into form. Deep beneath the sun-baked plains of Cappadocia lies a hidden world of staggering complexity. The Derinkuyu underground city is not merely a cave, but an engineered metropolis carved entirely from soft volcanic tuff, descending 18 levels and 280 feet into the earth. This was a city designed for long-term survival, a labyrinth capable of sheltering up to 20,000 individuals with every necessity for a community in seclusion. The sheer scale of excavation is almost unimaginable, involving the removal of countless tons of rock to create a vertical city complete with living quarters, stables for livestock, churches for worship, communal kitchens, and even elaborate wine and oil presses, all connected by kilometers of meticulously planned tunnels. The central engineering puzzle is how this was all accomplished without a single structural collapse over centuries. The builders demonstrated a masterful understanding of their material, carving arched ceilings and leaving strategic pillars of solid rock to support the immense weight above, creating a stable environment without using any additional construction materials. This precise, intentional design speaks to a profound knowledge of subterranean architecture and physics. How did they plan such an extensive, multi-level excavation without modern surveying tools, ensuring every corridor and chamber remained intact? The answer lies in the incredible precision of the work itself. The walls are smooth and uniformly carved, the ceiling heights are remarkably consistent throughout, and the passages are laid out with an organized logic that prevents dead ends and ensures efficient movement. Perhaps the most brilliant feat is the ventilation system. 15,000 carefully engineered shafts, some stretching all the way to the surface, provided a constant flow of fresh air to even the deepest levels, a necessity for a population living in confinement. These shafts also served as ingeniously concealed wells, tapping into underground water sources to provide a secure supply. Security was engineered with equal genius. The entire complex could be sealed off from the outside world by massive, circular stone doors. Each door, weighing over half a ton, was designed to roll smoothly into place from a recess in the wall, blocking corridors and isolating entire sections in the event of an attack. The logistical coordination required to build Derinkuyu, from the initial planning to the final carving, represents a lost chapter in urban engineering. How did a society with simple tools achieve such a perfect balance of structural integrity, livability, and defensive readiness deep within the earth? This hidden world of carved stone connects directly to another civilization that mastered the art of living underground. Hidden beneath the rural landscape of Zhejiang province, the Longyou caves form an underground empire of staggering ambition. 24 colossal caverns stretch across an area of 30,000 square meters, each one entirely hand-carved from solid sandstone. The sheer volume of material removed defies belief, with an estimated 1 million cubic meters of stone meticulously excavated and then seemingly vanished without a trace. The first mystery that confronts any visitor is the sheer uniformity of this subterranean world. Despite being separate chambers, every cave shares an identical architectural language. The walls are carved with a breathtaking consistency, running parallel to each other within a margin of mere centimeters across vast distances. Every surface, from the soaring ceilings to the smooth floors, is covered in the same precise, parallel chisel marks, a signature of a methodical, large-scale operation. This is not the haphazard work of small groups, but the product of a highly organized society with a singular, grand vision. The engineering genius extends to the cavern's internal support. Massive pillars were left standing at regular intervals, hewn from the living rock itself. Their placement is not random. Each one is strategically positioned to bear the immense weight of the ceiling above while maximizing the open, usable space below. This demonstrates a sophisticated, almost intuitive, understanding of structural mechanics and load distribution principles, a knowledge of how to make stone behave against the relentless pull of gravity. How did the creators plan such a complex, multi-chamber project without advanced surveying tools? How did they maintain such perfect geometric alignment and symmetry in near-total darkness, deep within the earth? The most perplexing question of all concerns the fate of the rubble. The staggering volume of excavated stone, enough to fill several hundred Olympic swimming pools, has simply disappeared from the historical and physical record. There are no massive spoil heaps in the surrounding area, no evidence of where this immense quantity of sandstone was relocated or repurposed. The silence of history is as profound as the silence within the caves themselves. No written record, no folk legend, no ancient text makes any mention of this monumental undertaking. What civilization possessed both the immense resources and the advanced knowledge to execute this project, only to abandon it and erase all memory of its creation? The parallel tool marks suggest the use of specialized equipment and a standardized measurement system, hinting at a level of technological organization that challenges our conventional timeline. From the profound silence of these Chinese caverns, we journey to the high Andes, where another civilization left behind a stone message that is equally difficult to decipher. High in the Peruvian Andes, the fortress of Ollantaytambo stands as a monumental question carved in red granite. Its most imposing feature is a series of colossal stone blocks, each weighing as much as 150 tons, built into terraced walls and temple platforms. To grasp the scale of this challenge, these stones were not sourced locally. They were quarried from a mountainside on the opposite bank of the roaring Urubamba River, requiring a journey down one steep valley across the water and then up another precipitous slope to the construction site. The very logistics of this operation seem to defy the capabilities of a society without the wheel or draft animals. Scattered along the route, the so-called tired stones lie abandoned, providing silent testimony to the immense effort. These are not failed attempts but clues. They show us the pathway and the sheer mass involved, yet they do not fully reveal the method. Conventional theories of log rollers and earthen ramps feel insufficient when confronted with the reality of moving such titanic weights over such complex and uneven terrain. The placement of the stones reveals the true genius. Once in position, these multi-ton blocks were fitted together with the signature Inca precision, a three-dimensional puzzle where each piece was uniquely carved to interlock perfectly with its neighbors. The joints are so tight that even now, centuries later, not a blade of grass can grow between them. This was not merely for show. This interlocking design, combined with the wall's subtle inward lean, acts as a sophisticated anti-seismic system. During an earthquake, the stones are designed to flex and settle as a unified mass, then return to their original position, rather than cracking and collapsing. This profound understanding of structural dynamics has allowed Ollantaytambo to withstand the relentless tremors of the Andes for centuries. The final layer of the mystery is the stonework itself. The red granite is one of the hardest stones to work with, yet the surfaces are flawlessly smooth and the angles are complex and sharp, as if the rock was shaped with a power tool rather than a simple stone hammer. How did they achieve such precision in such a resilient material, and what forgotten system of transport turned this mountain into a fortress? The answers seem carved into the walls themselves, yet they remain just out of reach. This display of Andean engineering, however, is not the continent's ultimate stoneworking mystery. Puma Punku looks less like an ancient ruin and more like a cosmic game of pickup sticks played by giants. The ground is littered with shattered andesite and granite blocks, each one a masterpiece of impossible geometry. These are not rough-hewn stones, they are precision-engineered components, cut with perfect right angles, razor-sharp edges, and surfaces polished to a mirror finish. Some of the most famous pieces are the H-blocks, massive 80-ton stones carved into identical, complex shapes with an unnerving consistency, as if they were stamped out by some colossal industrial press. The fit between these blocks was so exact they locked together without mortar, forming structures that could withstand immense seismic forces. The technical details are what truly stagger the mind. The flatness of these stone surfaces is measured to within a fraction of a millimeter, a level of precision that would require advanced machining today. Even more baffling are the drill holes found in the granite, some of which maintain a perfectly consistent diameter through the entire length of the incredibly hard stone, a feat that suggests the use of a stable, powerful drill bit unlike any simple stone tool. How could a culture with only copper chisels and stone hammers achieve such microscopic perfection in one of the most durable materials on Earth? The mystery only deepens when you consider the journey. These multi-ton blocks of andesite and granite were quarried from a site over 50 miles away, across a rugged landscape, and brought to this high-altitude plain without the wheel or large pack animals. The sheer logistical effort is a monumental puzzle in itself. While mainstream archaeology attributes Puma Punku to the Tiwanaku culture around 1500 years ago, the gap between their known technology and the evidence in the stone feels unbridgeable. The repeating geometric patterns and modular design principles speak of a sophisticated, almost mathematical understanding of construction, one that seems to belong to a far more advanced era. Were the builders of Puma Punku working from a lost blueprint, one that encoded a forgotten science of stone? This site of seemingly manufactured components pushes the boundaries of ancient possibility, leading us to another culture that mastered a different kind of geometric perfection in stone. 17 massive wheels, each 10 feet across, stand frozen in stone, their intricate spokes and hubs carved with a precision that captures time itself. This is the Sun Temple of Konark in India, a monument conceived not merely as a place of worship, but as a colossal stone chariot for the sun god, Surya. Its 24 wheels are not decorative, they are fully functional sundials, engineered to tell the time with an accuracy within minutes. Each wheel is a masterpiece of condylite stone, a material known for its challenging, granular nature, yet carved with geometric perfection that would be difficult to replicate even with modern tools. The entire temple complex is a celestial engine, aligned with such exactitude that the rays of the sun during equinoxes and solstices fall upon specific carvings and passageways, turning the architecture into a giant stone-based calendar. This required an advanced synthesis of astronomy and architecture, a knowledge system where the movement of the heavens was literally set in stone. The structural genius extends to the very bones of the temple. The main tower, or Vimana, once soared to a height of 100 feet, built entirely from interlocking stone blocks assembled without a single drop of mortar. This method required an incredible understanding of structural mechanics and weight distribution, as each block had to be perfectly shaped to transfer the immense loads across the complex, curved forms of the shrine. The stability of such a structure, relying solely on gravity and precise craftsmanship, speaks to a lost school of engineering physics. Local legends add another layer of profound mystery, suggesting the main tower housed a powerful magnet at its peak. This magnet, the stories say, caused the entire central structure to float in mid-air, suspended by magnetic forces. While mainstream archaeology dismisses this as myth, the legend persists as a folk memory of a construction technique so advanced it seemed like magic. The temple's history holds a final, sobering puzzle. Centuries ago, the main tower collapsed under circumstances that remain unclear. Some theories point to structural failure, perhaps from the shifting foundations or the removal of keystones, while others speculate about the loss of that legendary central magnet, which may have played a role in the building's integrity. This collapse itself is a mystery, as the sophisticated engineering evident in the surviving portions suggests the original builders possessed knowledge that was later lost, leading to the tower's vulnerability after the site was abandoned. How did these ancient Indian architects achieve such flawless astronomical alignments and staggering structural stability? And what crucial piece of their engineering wisdom faded from memory after the temple fell into disuse? This solar marvel, a testament to humanity's quest to harness the cosmos in architecture, naturally draws our gaze to another culture that sought to build its own connection between the earth and the heavens. The rolling green hills of Ireland conceal a 5,000-year-old secret, a monument that predates both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza. Newgrange is not a simple mound of earth, but a masterfully engineered passage tomb, a structure of staggering complexity built by a Neolithic society whose capabilities we are only beginning to appreciate. Its most breathtaking feature is a phenomenon of light and shadow that occurs for just a few precious minutes each year. At dawn on the winter solstice, as the sun crests the horizon, a single, narrow beam of light penetrates through a specially designed opening above the entrance, known as a roof box. This shaft of sunlight travels down the 62-foot-long, perfectly aligned passageway, gradually illuminating the central chamber deep within the heart of the mound. This is not a chance occurrence, it is the result of a profound and precise understanding of the solar cycle, an astronomical calendar carved into the very landscape. The engineering required to make this happen is a marvel in itself. The passage is oriented with such exactitude that it captures the sun at its lowest point in the sky, a feat that would challenge modern surveyors. How did these ancient builders, without written language or metal tools, calculate this alignment so perfectly and then construct a 62-foot tunnel to match it with unerring accuracy? The miracle continues overhead. The chamber is crowned by a corbelled roof, a masterpiece of dry stone architecture where each layer of rock is carefully overlapped and slightly offset inward, rising to a central point. This ingenious design has not only supported the immense weight of the mound for 50 centuries, but has also created a perfectly watertight seal, protecting the sacred space within from the damp Irish climate for millennia. Modern engineers have studied the intricate, hidden drainage system with admiration, noting the specially designed channels and the strategic placement of permeable stones that work in concert to divert rainwater away from the inner sanctum. The construction itself speaks of a monumental effort. The massive mound covers over an acre of land and required the movement of 200,000 tons of stone and earth. The striking white quartzite stones that form its glittering facade were not local. They were transported from mountains over 50 miles away, a logistical puzzle that rivals the movement of stones at distant sites. Inside, the silence is broken only by the intricate spiral carvings that adorn the walls, symbols whose meanings are lost to time, but whose precise execution hints at a sophisticated symbolic language. This was far more than a resting place. It was an astronomical observatory and a temple to the cycles of nature, built by a people with a deep connection to the cosmos. The precision on display here, from the solar alignment to the enduring construction, forces us to reconsider the technological and intellectual landscape of Neolithic Europe. How did a Stone Age society possess the knowledge to build for eternity, creating a structure that not only survived for 5,000 years but continues to perform its celestial function with clockwork regularity? This ancient Irish tomb, with its silent stone language and its captured sunrise, connects us to another prehistoric civilization that also looked to the skies, building their own enduring circles of stone. The Karnak alignments form a landscape of pure geometry, a forest of stone where over 3,000 granite megaliths stand in eerily perfect rows, marching across the French countryside for 2.5 miles. The sheer number is staggering, but the true engineering marvel lies in the details. The largest of these stones weighs an incredible 350 tons, a mass that would challenge modern cranes. Each one was quarried, dragged for miles, and then erected by a culture that possessed no metal tools, no wheels, and no draft animals. The coordination required for this multi-generational project is almost beyond comprehension, with construction and maintenance spanning an estimated 2,000 years. This was not a single project but a cultural tradition, a sacred duty passed down through countless generations, all dedicated to a vision whose full purpose we can only guess at. The precision of the straight lines is its own profound mystery. Keeping thousands of stones in perfect alignment over such vast, undulating terrain would require advanced surveying techniques, a knowledge of geometry and sightlines that conventional archaeology rarely credits to Neolithic societies. How did they maintain this visual perfection over such distances without written plans or modern instruments? The purpose of this colossal effort appears written in the stars and the stones themselves. The alignments are not random. They correspond with breathtaking accuracy to major lunar standstills and solar events like the solstice sunrise. The patterns are complex, a celestial code that researchers are still diligently working to decipher. This was clearly an astronomical observatory of epic scale, a permanent calendar carved into the very earth. Recent investigations have added startling new layers to the mystery. Scientists have detected unique acoustic properties within the stone rows, suggesting the arrangement might amplify or channel sound in specific ways. Even more puzzling are the consistent electromagnetic anomalies recorded around the largest menhirs, indicating that the local geomagnetic field is subtly altered by the stone's presence or composition. Were these effects intentional, did the builders possess a lost understanding of Earth energies and sonic vibration, weaving them into their astronomical science? The Karnak stones stand as a permanent question, not just about how prehistoric people moved such immense weights, but why they invested 2 millennia of collective effort to create this precise, powerful, and enigmatic landscape. This vast outdoor observatory, built to track the heavens, leads us to another European enigma, where the engineering puzzle is not one of alignment, but of moving a single, impossibly heavy stone. Descending into the hypogeum of Hal-Saflieni is like entering a stone womb, a labyrinthine sanctuary carved with stunning intricacy from the solid limestone bedrock of Malta. This is not a simple cave system but a multi-level architectural marvel, a subterranean world spanning 3 deep floors with elaborate chambers, ceremonial halls, and carefully carved altars. The sheer scale of the work is staggering, with an estimated 2,000 tons of rock meticulously excavated and removed using only the simplest stone and antler tools. Yet the surfaces they left behind are smooth and flowing, with perfect arches and spherical chambers that feel molded rather than chiseled, a testament to a lost art of working with stone. The builders demonstrated an advanced understanding of structural integrity, carving rooms and corridors in a way that has kept the entire complex stable for over 5,000 years. A sophisticated ventilation system comprising strategically placed shafts ensured a constant supply of fresh air to every level, making the deep underground spaces habitable and preserving the delicate artwork within. The walls of the hypogeum are adorned with sophisticated red ochre paintings, using symbolic spirals and patterns that suggest a deep, complex spiritual tradition far beyond a simple burial site. Furthermore, certain chambers are precisely aligned with solar events, capturing specific beams of light during equinoxes and solstices, proving the builders integrated celestial timekeeping into their underground architecture. The most profound mystery, however, is acoustic. One specific chamber, known as the Oracle Room, possesses acoustic properties so precise they seem impossible for a Neolithic culture. When a deep voice resonates at a specific low frequency in this small, carved niche, the sound vibrates and amplifies, echoing throughout the entire labyrinthine complex. This is not a random effect, it is the result of a deliberate architectural design, demonstrating that the builders understood the principles of sound wave propagation and harmonic resonance. They engineered the very stone to carry and magnify sound, likely using these vibrations in their rituals to create an overwhelming sensory experience. How did a culture with primitive tools achieve such flawless acoustic engineering and structural precision deep beneath the earth? What forgotten science of vibration and geometry did they possess, allowing them to turn solid rock into a resonant instrument? This Maltese mystery of a sanctuary designed for sound connects us to another site, where a different civilization created structures whose purpose is equally enigmatic. The silence of the great Zimbabwe ruins speaks volumes in stone. This sprawling complex in southern Africa is a masterpiece of dry stone construction, its massive walls rising to 36 feet high and stretching 20 feet thick, all assembled without a single drop of mortar. These formidable barriers were built from millions of granite blocks, each one quarried, shaped, and transported using only simple tools. The true genius lies in how they were placed. The stones interlock with such precision that the walls form perfect, graceful curves, their stability so profound they have endured centuries of weather and seismic activity without faltering. This was not haphazard piling, it was a sophisticated application of structural physics, where every stone was chosen and positioned to distribute weight and counteract lateral forces. At the heart of the complex stands the enigmatic conical tower, a symbolic structure built with an almost supernatural consistency. Its stones are all of a uniform size, laid in perfect, level courses that rise in a flawless curve, a demonstration of geometric understanding and meticulous quality control. The city's layout reveals an advanced level of urban planning, with distinct areas for royalty, citizens, and artisans, all integrated into a cohesive and defensible whole. Ingenious drainage channels were carved directly into the architecture, diverting rainwater and preserving the foundations from erosion. How did the Shona civilization, working without a written language or the wheel, develop such sophisticated masonry techniques and the organizational power to execute this city-sized project? The answer seems etched into the granite itself, a testament to a society that mastered its environment through collective knowledge and an intuitive yet advanced grasp of engineering. This African achievement in dry stone construction finds a powerful parallel in another part of the world, where an island culture also built to last, creating walls of impossible perfection. Scattered across the rugged landscape of Sardinia stand the Nurak silent stone sentinels from the Bronze Age. These unique conical towers, found nowhere else on Earth, are marvels of prehistoric engineering. The most complex examples are not simple huts, but multi-story fortresses with internal staircases winding through their thick walls and chambers crowned by soaring corbelled domes. This Tholos construction technique is a masterclass in stability, achieved without a single drop of mortar. Each stone course was carefully overlapped and slightly offset inward, creating a perfect, self-supporting dome that has defied gravity for 3,000 years. The sheer volume of material moved to build thousands of these structures across the island speaks to a highly organized society, one capable of marshalling labor and resources on a grand scale. They quarried and transported massive blocks of basalt, a dense and difficult stone, shaping them with a precision that feels almost modern. In the circular towers, each stone was uniquely carved to interlock with its neighbors, creating a continuous, stable curve that has withstood millennia of Mediterranean weather and seismic activity. The fit is so exact that the walls form a unified whole, a testament to a lost art of stone fitting that would challenge even skilled masons today. Recent research has uncovered another layer of sophistication, revealing that many Nurak are precisely oriented to the heavens. Specific doorways and narrow windows are aligned to capture the first rays of the solstice sun, transforming these stone giants into sophisticated astronomical calendars. How did the Nuragic civilization, developing in relative isolation, conceive of and execute such advanced architectural principles? What profound understanding of geometry, physics, and the cosmos was encoded into these towers, allowing them to endure as permanent fixtures on the landscape? This island's mystery of enduring stonework finds a powerful echo across the sea, where another isolated culture achieved its own architectural miracle. The silence within the Tarxian temples is a language of stone. This complex of interconnected sanctuaries, built from massive limestone blocks over 5,000 years ago, represents a breathtaking leap in architectural ambition. Its creators, a Neolithic society with only stone tools and sheer human effort, somehow transported slabs weighing up to 20 tons across the island of Malta. The method is believed to have involved rollers and levers, yet the practical application of moving such immense weights over uneven ground remains a formidable puzzle. Once on site, the real magic began. These colossal stones were not simply stacked, they were positioned with an artist's eye and an engineer's mind, locked together to form elaborate passages, semicircular chambers, and ceremonial altars. The structures showcase a mastery of corbelled arches and domed ceilings, where each stone course is carefully offset inward to create a stable, self-supporting roof. This technique demonstrates an intuitive, yet incredibly advanced, understanding of how to distribute immense weight and counteract the forces of gravity, a knowledge of structural mechanics that seems to belong to a much later age. The walls are a canvas of intricate artistry, featuring the earliest known stone reliefs in the world. Spirals and geometric patterns are carved with a mathematical consistency, their lines sharp and their repetitions flawless. This is not random decoration, it is a symbolic code, a system of measurement and geometry that speaks to a sophisticated intellectual tradition. The entire complex is a celestial instrument, its entrances and internal passages aligned with the solstice sunrises, weaving the annual solar cycle directly into the fabric of the sacred space. How did these prehistoric builders, without metal or written language, achieve such architectural harmony and precision? What forgotten system of collective knowledge allowed them to envision and execute this stone symphony, a place where massive engineering and delicate artistry converge? This Maltese temple complex, a pinnacle of Stone Age achievement, perfectly sets the stage for our final ancient mystery. The very stones of Teotihuacan seem to whisper of a lost cosmic order. This city of the gods, dominated by the colossal sun pyramid, is an exercise in scale and precision that defies its ancient origins. The pyramid itself is a mountain of human effort, composed of millions of tons of stone and earth, all meticulously arranged. Its core holds a profound secret. Modern excavations have revealed that the visible structure is merely the outer shell, encasing older, smaller pyramids built in successive layers, like a stone onion hiding its past. This was not haphazard expansion, but a deliberate, multi-generational project of staggering complexity. The entire city is a celestial map, its main avenue, the Street of the Dead, and its major temples aligned with breathtaking accuracy to specific astronomical events, including the cycles of the sun and the setting of the Pleiades star cluster. This was a metropolis engineered as a grand clockwork, mirroring the heavens on Earth. The builders employed a signature architectural style known as talud table row, a repeating pattern of sloped walls and vertical panels that created a precise, rhythmic harmony across the entire cityscape. This consistency speaks of a standardized measurement system and a central vision that guided construction for centuries. Beyond the visible grandeur, the pyramid conceals even stranger mysteries. Deep within its layers, archaeologists have found sheets of mica, a complex mineral with remarkable thermal and electrical insulating properties. This mica was not quarried locally, but transported from thousands of miles away, only to be buried between stone layers where no one could ever see it. What purpose could this hidden material have served? Was it part of a forgotten energy technology, or did it hold a deeper ceremonial significance we can no longer grasp? Even more puzzling are the discoveries of pools of liquid mercury in subterranean chambers, a substance revered for its mystical, liquid metal properties but incredibly difficult to produce and handle. How did a civilization without a written history achieve such a sophisticated understanding of materials science and celestial mechanics? The engineering extends to the very ground beneath the city, with intricate, hidden drainage channels woven into the architecture to control water flow and prevent erosion, ensuring the city's survival for millennia. The sheer coordination required to plan and execute this city-sized project, from the celestial alignments to the hidden material layers, points to a knowledge system that seamlessly blended astronomy, mathematics, and a physics of construction that we are still struggling to decode. What crucial understanding allowed the mysterious people of Teotihuacan to build not just for their time, but for eternity? This Mesoamerican marvel of integrated science and stone brings us to the final, and perhaps most personal, ancient engineering puzzle on our list. Descending into the Chand Bayori is like walking into a geometric dream. This colossal stepwell in Rajasthan is not merely a staircase. It is a 13-story inverted pyramid carved into the earth, a breathtaking arrangement of 3,500 perfectly symmetrical steps. Each step is a precisely cut stone, identical in dimension to its neighbors, forming a cascading pattern of perfect triangles and diamonds that seems to shift and transform as you move around the cavernous space. The visual harmony is so absolute it feels almost mathematical, a symphony of stone laid out with an architect's unwavering ruler. Yet this was far more than artistic expression. It was a masterwork of hydraulic engineering built to survive the harsh desert climate for over a millennium. The entire structure functions as a sophisticated water harvesting system designed to collect every precious drop of monsoon rain. Hidden channels and intricate filtration layers built directly into the foundation would cleanse the water as it flowed into the deep reservoir at the bottom, ensuring a reliable supply for the surrounding community throughout the dry seasons. The structural genius is in its enduring stability. These steps have endured centuries of torrential rains and extreme temperature swings without a single significant collapse, all assembled without any mortar to bind them. The stones rely solely on their perfect cuts and precise placement, interlocking in a way that allows the entire structure to flex and settle as a unified mass. This reveals an intuitive yet incredibly advanced understanding of load distribution and seismic resilience. Even more remarkable is the stepwell's natural climate control. The deep, shaded interior, combined with the vast surface area of the stone steps, creates a powerful evaporative cooling effect. The temperature at the bottom can be as much as 20 degrees cooler than the scorching air at the surface, a natural air conditioning system that provided a vital refuge from the heat. How did medieval Indian planners, without modern software or surveying tools, calculate the precise angles and volumes needed for such perfect geometric patterns and such effective water management? What profound knowledge of physics, material science, and community needs allowed them to carve this functional marvel directly into the earth? The Chand Bayori stands as our final example, a stunning fusion of art, science, and utility that perfectly encapsulates the central mystery of our entire journey. We have traveled across continents and millennia, from mountains to ocean depths, examining 25 monuments that defy simple explanation. Each one, in its own way, demonstrates a level of skill and understanding that challenges our conventional timeline of human progress. They whisper of lost sciences, of sophisticated knowledge systems that seamlessly blended astronomy with architecture, and of a profound mastery over materials that we are only now beginning to rediscover. These are not just ancient ruins, they are permanent questions carved in stone, urging us to look deeper into our past and reconsider the true capabilities of those who came before us. Mainstream archaeology paints a picture of immense human toil, of ramps stretching to the sky and thousands of workers straining with ropes and levers. This conventional view champions the idea that ancient societies possessed a deep, intuitive understanding of mathematics and physics, a knowledge passed down through generations and applied with almost unimaginable coordination. We have seen experimental archaeologists demonstrate the movement of multi-ton stones using log rollers and the shaping of granite with nothing more than sand, water, and patient abrasion. These experiments are impressive, proving that such feats are not entirely impossible, yet they consistently fall short of the breathtaking precision and efficiency displayed at the sites we have explored. The reconstructions often require significantly more time and effort, and the final results lack the microscopic accuracy, the flawless seams, and the machined-like surfaces of the originals. This points to a crucial gap between what we can replicate and what was actually achieved. perhaps the greatest engineering marvel lies not in the stone itself, but in the human mind. The ability to envision a project spanning centuries, to coordinate the labor of thousands, and to maintain a singular architectural vision across generations represents a form of social and psychological genius that modern project managers still study with admiration. How do we reconcile the undeniable evidence of these structures with the limitations of the tools and methods we attribute to their builders? The scientific process demands skepticism, yet the stones themselves are undeniable physical evidence. This forces us to consider that our modern assumptions about ancient technology and capability might be incomplete. We may be overlooking lost techniques, specialized tools, or even entire schools of knowledge that simply did not survive the passage of time. The true mystery, then, might not be a single lost tool, but a lost system of thought, a different way of seeing and manipulating the physical world that has since faded from human memory. What do these enduring puzzles ultimately reveal about the resilience, ingenuity, and perhaps the hidden potential of our own species throughout history? Our journey through these 25 unexplained monuments reveals a consistent pattern of engineering sophistication that challenges conventional historical narratives and modern capabilities alike. From the perfectly fitted stones of Sacsayhuaman to the astronomical precision of Newgrange, these structures demonstrate that ancient civilizations possessed knowledge and techniques we are still struggling to fully comprehend. The common threads are impossible to ignore: precise astronomical alignment, sophisticated stoneworking on an unimaginable scale, and a profound understanding of structural physics, all appearing across disparate cultures and continents. This pattern suggests the possibility of shared principles, an interconnected web of knowledge that may have spanned the globe long before our recorded history began. Yet the explanation may be even more profound than a single lost civilization. Rather than proving the need for extraterrestrial intervention, these monuments might instead reveal the incredible potential of human ingenuity when driven by spiritual purpose, communal effort, and accumulated generational knowledge. Imagine the power of a cultural vision so strong it could coordinate the labor of thousands for a project that would not be finished in their own lifetimes. This represents a different kind of intelligence, one rooted in patience, observation, and a deep connection to the natural and cosmic worlds. As our own technology advances, new research methods may eventually unlock these ancient secrets. Ground-penetrating radar, three-dimensional modeling, and material analysis are already providing fresh clues. But for now, these sites stand as humbling reminders that our ancestors achieved true greatness with resources we would consider primitive. They ask us to reconsider the very definition of progress. I would love to hear which of these monuments you find most mysterious. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this exploration into history's greatest puzzles, please subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. These ancient wonders continue to challenge what we think is possible, inviting us to keep questioning, exploring, and marveling at the vast scope of human achievement across the ages.